How did you get to have this car? And was it always in this condition? I'm assuming you had to do some work to it.
You want to tackle that one?
Yeah. I mean, it was in awful shape. It was in boxes. I think the engine was in Texas, the body was in Indiana, the transmission was in the state of Washington. I am Jack Boyd Smith Jr. of the JBS Collection, and we brought the 37 Cord, which was originally owned by Amelia Earhart.
And I am Travis LaVine of LaVine Restorations. We are the restorer of this beautiful piece of history, and honored to be here today.
That's an amazing car. So for someone who they're not familiar with Cord, they don't know a lot about the history, what is the significance of this car, this brand, and this model?
Front wheel drive, pop-up headlights, suicide knob, compass. It was really ahead of its time. Behind you there's a Packard class, and some of those Packards were on the road at the same time this was, and they totally different looks.
Really the legacy of Cord is Cord introduced the first front-wheel drive car, production front-wheel drive car to market in the U.S. in 1929. They produced the L29 Cord for a couple of years, stopped production, came back out with the 810, 812 Cord starting in 1936, resolved some of the issues they had with the front-wheel drive design from the L29 cars, and came up with ultimately a very advanced design for the era. Again, as Jack referenced, if you compare this style language to what you would have had with contemporaries, it's a very different looking car. And that was largely because it's a front-wheel drive car. It didn't need running boards, sat lower to the ground, and it introduced a tremendous amount of technological innovation to the automotive industry in the U.S. vis-a-vis pop-up headlights, vacuum-actuated clutch system that was, kind of a response to the Citroën Traction Avant. They were just rife with engineering interests, and they're just an extremely beautiful car.
And the engine was manufactured by
Lycoming, yeah.
Wow, Lycoming, the airplane.
Yes.
Wow, that's amazing.
So that ties it in again with Amelia Earhart.
How did you get to have this car? And was it always in this condition? I'm assuming you had to do some work to it.
You want to tackle that one?
Yeah. When I bought this car, I think the engine was in Texas, the body was in Indiana, the transmission was in the state of Washington. It was all over. It was in boxes. I don't think there were any front seats in the car.
No.
I mean, it was in awful shape.
This is a very interesting process to restore this car. There was a gentleman by the name of Ray Foster that took the better part of 3 decades reconstituting all the components of this car. After Amelia Earhart passed, which this is the Amelia Earhart Cord, it took a couple of years for the state of California to legally pronounce her dead, at which point in time the car was sold from her estate, went to a gentleman that took the engine out of it, put it in another Cord. That engine was rebuilt, put into this body, and then the cars separated their ways. And over the course of a couple of decades, he traversed the country and tracked everything down for the car.
So now it's all matching numbers.
Yes, sold the car to Jack, and it went through, again, several decades of research and then 5 years of research more or less on our end to bring the car back to its current condition, and it was ultimately inducted into the National Historic Vehicle Register after all that work.
Congratulations on that. And what's it like to drive? What's it like to take behind the wheel?
They are. A lot of people will poo-poo the Cords, but when they're properly set up, they are a fantastic car to drive. The pre-selector unit, when it's properly set up and tuned, is an absolutely excellent thing to drive. Plenty of power. Design is great on it. They're well balanced. They really are a great, great car.